Congratulations and happy 195th anniversary to the NNPA, to Dr. Chavis, to all of the leaders. As we know, our Black press has been the voice, the trusted voice of the community. It has been the trusted voice for the nation in terms of speaking of and about with knowledge and with respect what is happening in the community. The Black press will tell the stories that need to be told and often by other press outlets is not being told, but directly impacts so many people. And so I applaud the Black press for all that you do. I know that through the course of the last 2 years, it has been a real effort because so many of our Black newspapers and publications are also family-owned businesses, small businesses, and the challenges that come, and in particular in the last 2 years that have come with that. So I just want to thank you for your endurance, for your strength, but your voice is so incredibly important, especially when I think about this moment in the history of our nation. 195 years celebrating an anniversary. And now more than ever, in a very different way, we are dealing with so much misinformation, inaccurate information, the dissemination of hate speech, and so much that is incorrect and wrong. There are people who want to deny history, who don't want to teach history, which reinforces, as much as it ever has been important, reinforces the importance of our Black press. So happy anniversary.
Hi, this is United States Senator Cory Booker. We truly stand on the shoulders of giants. We have a history so rich with leaders in the Black press, names we know from Frederick Douglass to Ida B. Wells, so many people who were committed to telling the truth, not letting it be watered down or whitewashed. So many people that were willing to, with the truth, with their writing, with their journalism, to inspire, to ignite, to inform activists, citizens, and so many. Indeed, we have inherited a rich legacy, and we honor that legacy not just by recognizing it, but by continuing it, so that we may give honor to our ancestors' struggles and may give way for a better future for our children not yet born. We have work to do. May we continue to support the Black press and its essential role in the United States of America, today and tomorrow. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Congresswoman Barbara Lee, proudly representing California's beautiful 13th Congressional District. I want to congratulate Dr. Ben Chavis, the Board of Directors, and the entire Black Press of America on their 195th anniversary. For nearly 2 centuries, even prior to the end of slavery, the Black Press of America has been reporting on issues in our community with courage and with integrity. Now more than ever, the Black press plays a crucial role to inform our community as we fight back some of the same challenges we did a century ago, like voter suppression, income inequality, and systemic racism. Here's to another century of impactful work. We've come a long way and still have a long way to go, but thank you to the Black press for helping us get this far. Congratulations.
Hi, everybody. This is Senator Chuck Schumer. For all of its history, NNPA has played such a vital role in forming and raising the voices of Black Americans in the news industry, and made sure their voices are never silenced. As we reflect on the current state of our country, this mission is even more important today. From healthcare to housing, the economy, and education, the COVID-19 pandemic continues to disproportionately affect African Americans, while also putting a magnifying glass over the systematic injustices present in far too many of our nation's institutions. It is said that Martin Luther King, on his broad shoulders, held up a giant mirror and with his eloquence and conviction forced Americans to look into that mirror, and they didn't like what they saw. In a certain different type of sense, COVID is doing the same thing. America is seeing the systematic racism that plagues our country, and Americans are not liking what they see. Nowhere is this clearest than in the epidemic of police brutality against African Americans. While my Democratic colleagues and I continue working to pass legislation that fights back against these injustices and provides comprehensive solutions, it is you, the members of the NNPA, that bring this information from Washington to the homes of American families. So I want to wish a very happy anniversary to the NNPA and the Black Press of America. I hope at our next anniversary we've made real progress for the first time in a long time on racial justice. And thank you for playing the essential role you play in confronting racism, injustice, inequality that plagues America.
Jean-Pierre, White House Press Secretary, and I am thrilled to celebrate the 82nd anniversary of NNPA and the 195th anniversary of the Black Press of America. Congratulations to Dr. Ben Chavis, Chair Karen Carter Richards, Stacy Brown, and the entire team on your continued leadership. It is because of what you and the NNPA publishers do each and every day that Black voices are amplified across the nation, and I look forward to working with you for years to come.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is another day that the Lord have made. Absolutely. The food is ready, but it's in our tradition, we always say grace before we have a meal. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we give thanks for the food that has been prepared for the nourishment of our bodies. We're so grateful, O Lord, for the 195th year of the Black Press of America. We thank you, Lord, for your grace. We thank you for your bountiness of your love and this togetherness as we spend time together here in New Orleans. Bless those publishers who are still stranded. Bless Delta Airlines. Our prayers are not for those of us who are here, but for those of us who wanted to be here, but for technicalities have not made it yet. But Lord, we know that as we keep the faith, your love is not questioned. And so we give grace and thanks for this time together. And we thank General Motors for sponsoring, oh Lord, this luncheon. Now, let us say amen and let us eat and get into it. Thank you. Amen. So the food is ready, it's buffet style. And I'm told to keep everybody safe, you should try to move through the buffet line without staring at the food. Fill your plate up many times as you want, but let's keep it moving. And you can be on both sides of the buffet table. 2 lines. Thank you. Okay. As soon as everybody gets so do we have anything else that you play? So there's one now. Well, you can eat this first. Show a little live people eating then play a video. We got plenty of content. Yes, eventually.
Hey, everybody. Attorney General Keith Ellison here to dedicate and to thank the Black press for your so many decades, almost 2 centuries of service to the Black community, helping to keep us informed, helping to make us sure that we know what's going on. It was the Black press in the early days that cataloged and documented lynching, that stood up and made sure that African Americans, whether they're in the Deep South or the North or the West or the East or in the Midwest, knew what was going on. Did you know that Ida B. Wells was a member of the Black press and she made the truth known? And so many others did. Monroe Trotter, other Black journalists from way back in the day, even Frederick Douglass was a member of the Black press. You should know that the Black press has been a rich institution that has sustained us. And even in this modern era, we're going to learn what's going on with diabetes, with asthma, with the healthcare crisis that Black people face every single day, with homelessness, and with extrajudicial killing by state actors that Black people suffer through and people don't even know about. Sure, we know about the big names. We know about Philando Castile. We know about George Floyd. We know about that. But you know what we don't know about? We don't know those folks we lose on the streets and the highways and the byways all the time, and their names never hit the news. For those people, I want to say the Black press has been an essential organ of news and information. It is an essential piece of our community's heritage, history, and present moment. And I just want you to know, I'm not just up here talking. I put my money where my mouth is. I have a subscription to the Inside News, which is my local Black newspaper. The Inside newspaper is Minneapolis African American Press, of which I send my money because I believe you got to put your money where your mouth is. So let me just say, for those of you listening, subscribe to your local Black press. Make sure that they know that you really care. Subscribe and read so you can know what's going on. Thank you.
I'm Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, Chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Congratulations to my good friend, Dr. Benjamin Chavis, and the board of the Black Press of America for celebrating their 195th anniversary. The work done by the Black Press of America has given and continues to provide Black individuals a voice to make history in our country. The legacy of impactful and independent journalism will continue to live on for years to come. Again, congratulations on this incredible milestone.
I'm Derek Johnson, President and CEO of the NAACP. You know, NAACP was established by someone who also was a newswoman, Ida B. Wells. And for me, coming from Mississippi, knowing the advocacy of the Black press, we are proud partners with NNPA. It is important for our community to hear the news from our community, reported by our community, so we can be a stronger community. NAACP, we will continue to stand alongside in partnership with your leadership, Dr. Benjamin Chavis, who for me is a special privilege, not only because he served in his seat, but he served in his seat while I was a state youth president in Mississippi, and he supported the voice of young people across the country during a time when they was trying to close and merge Black colleges. But more importantly, it was through the Jackson Advocate that carried the news of our work, which resulted in African American schools, HBCUs, state funded, the prevention of their closing. During that time, they was talking about merging Alcorn State University, closing Mississippi Valley, and downsizing Jackson State. But because of the voice of the Jackson Advocate and all the papers across the country who are members of NNPA, we were able to stop the closing and merging of not only schools in the state of Mississippi, but HBCUs in 18 states. So thank you for being the voice of our community. Continue to do the work as we look to the future.
Let me express my thanks for you allowing me to be a part of this today. The black press has meaning just as health disparities and economic, there are also news disparities. So our news is covered by the black press. At some level, the white press picks up on what the black press projects. People like James Bevel and Bernard Lafayette, Jesse Jackson, those of us who didn't have any real identification with the white press, we came to the Defender, came to Jet, we came to Ebony, we came to Memphis paper, Tri-State Defender. We know really about MTL because the black press took it on as a cause celeb between Memphis, Tri-State Defender, and Journal and Guide and Afro-American, and Jet, it made it. My first job as a kid was selling Afro-American and Jet and Journal and Guide papers every week. We kept the papers like they were articles of religion. Most of got our black history from the annual Ebony magazine. Who else would know Sugar Child Robinson? We wouldn't know much about Jackie Robinson's home life or Billy Eckstine's home life if it were not for the black press. So I want to express my thanks to you for the role you played. There's more role to play now than ever before, because in many ways you're the key. Ida B. Wells fighting the lynching fight, for example. Now we have 60 blacks in the Congress. That's a new day for us in so many ways. Black mayors of Birmingham and Selma and Montgomery and Atlanta. Dr. King never saw a black mayor in Atlanta, fourth black mayor really. Now Washington, D.C., Augusta, Savannah. And so we're St. Paul, Minnesota. We're growing in big numbers. Now, black press must keep us accountable. Keep projecting those who are on the way up. I think as I close, when I was Operation Breadbasket, Dr. King was a big feature in Chicago with open housing. But Defender and Journal and the Crusader, they covered Breadbasket. They covered Ben Chavis in jail in Wilmington. We're a great deal indebted to the black press, and I thank you for the service you render. Telling me to stand with you to read what you write and to fight to get ads for you, because black press is earning more advertising than it gets. And in negotiation, we've been involved in major corporate involved the black press in the advertising program, but you deserve business as well as access to the community. Let me express my thanks to you. I love you guys so much. Appreciate you so much, guys.
Stacy. I finished with tonight. You work it out. I know. Okay, I know. Right. I know you do. Sure, how are you? Good to see you. Turn. No, I'll get something later. My leg is cramped. Yes, of course. We're going to record the whole thing. I know. Got you. Yeah, I got you. I understand what's going on. All righty. As you continue to enjoy your lunch, I see the line is very short now. We have plenty of food, plenty of beverage, but we would like to get into the substance of the program aspect of our luncheon. Before bringing up the panel, where we are going to engage in a fireside chat, on behalf of Karen Carter Richards and all of the members of the NNPA, I just want to affirm first that of all the companies in corporate America, the NNPA probably has the longest standing corporate partnership with one company, which dates over 50 to 60 years, and that's General Motors. Let's give General Motors a hand. We're very proud of our relationship with General Motors, and people point to the historic relationship, but the contemporary relationship is also very, very important. It's growing, it's expanding, and helping us to envision what the future of our nation and world will be. And so in this particular panel, we're going to be looking at the path to inclusion with a focus on electrification, how GM is building an all-inclusive workforce to build an all-electric future. I have ridden in some of these electric cars, and the ride is good, and the cost is good, particularly the high price of gasoline. I think all of us are going to be in electric vehicles sooner than we originally thought. So I think everybody's just about have their lunch, so I would like to call up to the stage our illustrious panel members. First, Tarshena Armstrong, who is the Director of Diversity and Marketing and Development at General Motors. Let's give our sister a hand. Tarshena Armstrong. And next, I would like to have Tamberlin Golden, the Executive Director of Workforce Strategy for General Motors. Tamberlin. And next, Bridgette Gray, the Chief Customer Officer, Opportunity at Work. Testing. Very good. So Tammy, I'm going to start with you. GM has the ambitious goal of being the most inclusive company in the world. What does that look like, and how do we get from where we are to where GM wants to be?
Okay, well, thank you for the question. And I'll tell you, when the vision was set to become the most inclusive company in the world, it was an opportunity set before us that created a bit of emotion. I
just want to make sure. Is her mic up? Can y'all hear her? Yeah, can you bring her mic up some, please?
Testing, testing, testing. Okay, I think you can hear me better.
Yes, go ahead.
So when we set out to aspire to become the most inclusive company in the world, it really evoked a bit of emotion, because that's like a really big deal, because when you think about inclusivity, it's really in the eye of the beholder. And so our plan is really around how we inspire internally as well as externally. And when you look at it internally, we are really challenging each individual to embrace creating moments every day that value people, their backgrounds, their experiences, and their ideas. And when you think about creating a moment every day, you know how big that challenge is and the intention with which you have to move. In addition, we know that leaders create a climate that inspires a culture of inclusivity. So we challenge our leadership as well so that we can ensure that we can invite talent into General Motors and hire, attract, and retain that talent. And then externally, we know that it's important to have a diverse workforce of talent, especially as we aspire to our all-electric future. And bringing in that diversity of thought and perspective allows us the opportunity to really inspire a culture of innovators and creators. So we're pretty excited, but we know it's a journey. We're meeting people where they are, but we also know that the way to get there is to move with intention and deliberate action.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. So next, Tarshena, General Motors is working to ensure more equitable outcomes among their business partners and suppliers. Diverse-owned media is an area where you've made significant improvements. You're committed to doubling your spending with Black-owned media. Can you share more about this progress in this area and how you're making this happen? This would be particularly interested to all of our publishers who survive off of getting advertising and other support from companies like General Motors.
Absolutely. And first, thank you, Dr. Chavis, and actually everyone from the NNPA for being advocates and champions for GM. You know, I'm very proud of the progress we've made over the last year within the Black-owned and diverse-owned media space. Last year, we had a few headwinds, but it really accelerated our aspiration to be the most inclusive company, and that means internally and externally. And when we mean externally, the progress we've made with Black-owned media, we have doubled our media spend last year with the long-term goal of achieving 8% by 2025, and that's direct Black-owned media investment that we do within General Motors, and that's significant. You know, over the last year, we've really taken a step back to listen to some of the needs that were necessary to build the change, building relationships, and that's important because relationships matter in this space, and that's why I'm proud that GM is in rooms like this to really foster those relationships and speak directly to the publishers. Also, last year, we had the ability to create an incubator fund, and our CEO met with the NNPA. And this is how important it was. It was not just something that started in a bubble. Our CEO really set the stage for this, and it trickled down. And she dedicated $50 million over the next 10 years to support and scale diverse-owned media. And so I'll be responsible for this incubator fund. And the whole purpose is to scale, to invest in businesses so that they last far beyond everyone on this panel. It's important because when you look at these minority-owned businesses, there's some things that they lack, and we need to incubate, whether that's business acumen or analytic capabilities or creative marketing. Because within my role, we want to ensure that we meet the people where they are, and also that we build content that is relatable to our Black consumer. Because at the end of the day, we are here to sell cars and trucks. However, we want to be very intentional with how we do that. So it's very important. I'm happy of the progress that we've made, and we want to do more. You know, we had an opportunity to, you know, extend our 50-year commitment. And I want to say this is the first multi-year commitment that we've made instead of just annual. So that goes to show GM's investment into the Black press, and we want to do more.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. This is for Bridgette, and also Tammy, you can chime in. General Motors has committed to increasing its variety of skilled talent in their workforce, taking the focus off of degree talent and putting more emphasis on skill-based talent. Opportunity at Work is one of the organizations General Motors is partnered with to help build this diverse talent pipeline. Bridgette, can you talk more about opportunity at work?
Absolutely. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for having me here. I feel really honored to be in a room with so many Black people, so many people that are in the media space, and realizing how important that is to the talent pipelines that we're really trying to make sure that we can reach out to for jobs at GM and other companies. So Opportunity at Work, we're a national social enterprise. We are a nonprofit. And our focus is really to rewire the labor market so that employers are thinking about the skills that people bring to the table versus the degree. It's not a way of minimizing a degree. We know that a degree is important, but we know that a degree cannot be the only pathway to the middle class. We have to consider the skills that people have every day. And so people work in all types of jobs where they're building tons of skills that they can put into practice into an employment. And so we are partnering with General Motors and really trying to work with this vision that Tammy has created, which has been fantastic, to open up more opportunities for people that are bringing skills to the table, who are hungry for opportunities and jobs and family sustaining wages, even if they don't have a 4-year degree. And so what we've been doing with General Motors, we have a platform called Stellar Works. Works is with an X as an X-ray. And it is a talent marketplace. It's a place where we're aggregating supply and demand. Employers and who we call stars, those are workers that are skilled through an alternative route. And it may be interesting to note that stars, there are 70 million workers in this country that are identified as stars. And the reason why stars is important, it's a talent category. It's a way for employers to understand that we're talking about people that have actual skills that they can put into practice and that they can put into a company's business. And there are 70 million of those workers, with over 55% of them being Black. And so it's really important to make sure that we can get to them. We can get to them to help them understand that there are opportunities for jobs. And so the work we're doing with General Motors is being a talent pipeline and helping to secure talent and to secure Black talent into General Motors jobs.
Yeah, and I will tell you that this is a great space where we're learning a lot, and we learn a lot through partnerships like with Opportunity at Work. When you talk about the talent space, we're opening the aperture so that we are eliminating barriers, unnecessary barriers to talent. And when you're talking about the all-electric future, General Motors is looking for skilled, diverse talent. And so through partnerships like with Opportunity at Work, as well, we've launched scholarships to skill up tech talent through Udacity. We have a partnership we joined a coalition with 110, where they are committed, 60 employers are committed to hiring 1 million Black talent over the next 10 years into livable wage jobs. As well, our CEO leads the Business Roundtable, where we put an equity lens on our hiring strategies. So just trying to open the aperture and ensure that we're welcoming all talent and expanding the talent pool.
Very good. This goes right to Tarshena now. And we're so proud that, and I hope I'm gonna let some of the scholars stand up who are here at the luncheon. But General Motors is exploring a variety of initiatives to diversify their talent pipeline. One of those initiatives is a program that the NMPA and General Motors started in 2016, 6 years ago. Discover the Unexpected, DTU. It's an internship working to recruit top talent from HBCUs. We have some of the interns here today connecting with their publishers. Now in its 6th year, can you talk a little bit about it, Tarshena, about how the program is going from General Motors' perspective?
Absolutely. And this is probably my most fruitful assignment that I had the opportunity to work on. But we have 11 HBCU scholars and our fellows who are here with us today. And I would like for you all to stand, our DTU cohort of 22, if you could stand. Thank you so much. But just to give you all an insight in what this Chevrolet Discover the Unexpected program is, it is a marketing and journalism track program. And we have the opportunity to work with only HBCU students because we know that diversity of thought breeds innovation, and it's important that we go to historically Black colleges and universities to create opportunities for students, to not only educate them about the automotive industry, but just to onboard them into corporate America. I love the evolution of this program because at first we had only 5 students. Then we went to 10 students. Now we have 11 students. And our expansion of the program was traditionally just journalism in partnership with the NNPA, but now we have an opportunity where we take marketing students and they work directly with Chevrolet. And so they are literally working on the truck team. They're working on the social media team as interns within our organization. And they also are getting paid. They are getting a stipend over the course of the summer and a scholarship opportunity, which is important because they're investing in their future. Just this week, they've actually been here the whole week since Monday, and in partnership with our agency of record for Chevrolet, Carol H. Williams, we have been shooting content around electrification. And this summer, the theme is Charging Forward. So these students will be working in partnership with Chevrolet to educate the Black and Brown community about our electric vehicles. So if you've seen a lot of our Chevrolet Boat EVs around the hotel, that's what we've been doing this week. We've shot content with our program ambassador, Terrence J., and had an opportunity to really deep dive what New Orleans culture and electrification means within the Black and Brown community. You know, just demystifying what it means for charging infrastructure, whether it's cost or range. And these students got to I think yesterday, they are probably tired because they had a full day where they had a scavenger hunt around the city of New Orleans. They went to Black bookstores. They went to a dealership. They charged the vehicle. They went to the African American History Museum. And then we had some winners, of course, but they really got to immerse themselves in what electrical vehicles were. And this is great because they're also on their social platforms creating content on behalf of Chevrolet to educate the communities.
Very good. I would like to, for the ones who are assigned to our newspapers, I just want everybody to know, first with the Philadelphia Tribune, Mr. Bogle is in the program. Let's give him a hand. The Forward Times in Houston, the Washington Informer in Washington, D.C., the Chicago Citizen, right, the Atlanta Voice, and last but not least, the Dallas Examiner, Molly.
You know, I just want to add one thing. Sure. Yesterday during the reception, there was quite a bit of people who say, well, why don't I have an intern? And so we're always looking to expand this program. So next year, you know, we might extend this and add more fellows because creating that opportunity for them to also get some real life experience at a paper to understand Black journalism, traditional journalism skills, and to increase even from the panel earlier, some of that digital expertise as well will be great.
Very good. Bridgette, you've observed many different companies. How would you, without putting you on the spot, how would you evaluate this initiative that General Motors has launched?
I don't mind being put on the spot for this one because I would evaluate it from a space of an A++. It's really important. I've worked in the workforce space, the talent space for close to 30 years, and it's always been to get employers to come to the table to really consider talent in a really different way. I jumped into this work after President Clinton signed the Welfare Reform Act because I wanted to help women transition. And it's always been difficult. And then you meet people like GM and you meet people like Tammy, who has this amazing vision and strategy. And so we've worked lockstep, hand in hand. It's been a learning process, as Tammy mentioned earlier. It's a feedback process too, so the loop of communication back and forth is really, really important. But what we've been able to do is really land in a space where we know what our roles need to be to bring more talent to the table, particularly non-degree talent. And I can't overemphasize non-degree talent, because when you think about the bulk of workers in this country, 60% of workers don't have a 4-year degree. Most people think that the bulk of people do have a 4-year degree, but employers are really shocked when they hear that. And so when their next thought is, well, then where are we going to get talent from? How are we going to line that talent up? And so being able to have a company that is thinking forward like that, that's the future of work. That's how you get your talent pipelines in the doors. And right now, companies are struggling to fill those talent pipelines, and they don't need to struggle to do that. GM has realized that they don't have to struggle to find the talent. They just have to rethink the way they're sourcing the talent, and partnering with us is a really good way to do that, because we partner with multiple training organizations to make sure we're a feeder for organizations like GM. So I would rate GM as A triple plus, because they're doing a fantastic job.
Very good. It's a good segue. Tammy, talk to us a little bit more detail about the process of moving toward electric vehicles. How, from your observation, you're right there at GM, how is it going? Are people being receptive to the benefit of electric vehicles?
So when you look at it from the perspective of General Motors, we are a company, we deliver technology, we deliver new programming. So from our team's perspective, it's a new program. It's a new future for us. When you talk all electric, like anything else, everybody wants to know more, because it's a complete shift in our portfolio. And what we're doing is we're educating, and educating, so that people start to get more comfortable with this concept of moving in the all-electric future direction. If you look at the fact that we committed $25 million to the Climate Equity Fund, we did that for the same reason, so that our communities as well, when you talk about our nonprofit organization and those that need to help with this education piece, help the community's transition, help with the whole charging strategy, that's available to them. So I see this as from a company perspective, we're bringing people along. We have a campaign called Everybody In. And it's so that everybody can so that we can start to transition them toward the future, which the future of work is going to shift, as with anything, right? I always refer back to the Jetsons. How many remember the Jetsons? You can tell your age if you remember the Jetsons. And how many said, not in my lifetime, right? And I used to watch that and say, wow. And look at us today. So I see it, we're meeting people where they are, and we're bringing people along.
Very good. So before we open it up for questions, Tarshena, just go back to you. You've had a great career in General Motors. You actually worked directly with Mary Barrett, the CEO. When she made that bold statement about General Motors being the most diverse company in America, that's a pretty high goal to achieve, since you've worked directly in her office, the CEO. And let me just say something about these women executives, but I'm talking about these Black women. I think the fact that American companies are giving Black women decision-making positions in the Black press, we should applaud that. Black women are making a difference. That's not to put the brothers down, it's to lift the sisters up. But what has been your observation? I know when Mary Bear made that statement, I know people at the time were throwing rocks at General Motors. So tell us what's been happening.
Well, I've been with GM my entire career. I actually started as an intern, so I feel right at home with the GTU students. But you know, GM has always taken a risk on me. I was always, too young or wasn't as experienced, but I always received very fruitful opportunities, whether that was calling on dealers or whether that was supporting Mary as a business planner. And it's important that people know that you have champions internally that advocate on behalf of people of color. And our CEO did just that. One thing that I did learn from our CEO is to surround yourself with people with qualities that you lack. Our CEO doesn't have marketing experience. So she wanted a business planner who had marketing and sales experience to be a listening ear. And to give a little Black girl from Flint, Michigan that opportunity, it was very empowering. You have advocates like Tammy, who I call the queen of GM because she feeds into everyone. When I took this position, Tammy said, well, what do you need? Let's get one-on-ones. Tell them that you need more people. Do that. And she's also been championing. So it's almost like a reach back, pull forward family aspect within GM. And I think that's very important. When I was business planning, I had an opportunity to work on our enterprise growth strategy. And that enterprise growth strategy really looked at not GM right now, but what's our glide path into the future, going into electrification, but also transitioning from mobility, but to a platform organization. Look at all the things that we're doing in GM Defense or Bright Drop. We're really trying to expand the portfolio of mobility, and that's so important. And we're bringing along our Black and brown people, which is extremely important. We have these 11 great students and talent, and my goal is to ensure that, hey, if your publishers don't have opportunities, what opportunities do we have within GM for them to get full-time employees? Because when I'm gone, I need someone to replace me in this role. So,
very good. Let's give them a hand. So, we still have a few minutes left. I think we go to 1:45, I believe, and it's 1:33. So we got any questions for our colleagues at General Motors we can entertain? Yes. Just stand so everybody can hear and see you. Go ahead.
Community about electric vehicles. And in part of that three-part series, it was a woman, that opportunity to be a woman, was a manufacturer, an installer. And so my question to you, in terms of your investment and networking equity, there's workforce development, but there's also the opportunity for entrepreneurship. Those that can do battery recycling, installation. Is there any, are you looking at also the opportunity to create diverse businesses also as part of the development of really servicing the so we can be service also?
So when you look at our relationships with our diverse supplier network, there's always that opportunity. And absolutely, as we evolve into this, I'm sure that's on the plate because if I'm not mistaken, we have one of the oldest minority supplier development relationships. So absolutely, I'm sure that's something that will come up as we evolve.
Very good. I see Rosetta Perry, and I just want to give everybody an announcement. Our 2023 National Convention will be next June in Nashville, Tennessee. And Rosetta Perry is the distinguished publisher of the Tennessee Tribune. Not only publishes in Nashville, but across the state of Tennessee. And I'm so proud of Rosetta because she also has 3 stores at the Nashville airport. I mean, sister's an entrepreneur, holding it down. So I know you have a question for General Motors. Rosetta.
You're in Atlanta. So how do you select your cities? How did you select Atlanta? I know Atlanta is #1 for all of us Black folks. They get everything. But we have some other cities in this country. So where do you plan to go next?
Are you talking toward the Chevrolet Discover the Unexpected program and the publications that we're supporting?
Yes.
I can't understand what you're saying.
Yes, about the DTU. So we work in partnership with Dr. Chavis to select some of the cities that we support with our internship programs. However, one thing that we want to do is expand the program. So beyond some of the major cities like the Atlanta or Chicago. So we will take the opportunity to see what great talent and what great publications we can work with in the future. So
All right,
absolutely.
so I'll be looking for you in Nashville.
In Nashville, we can make that happen.
Okay, all right.
So I think we got to do, because we don't even have one in Detroit. I think Hiram said, hey, I need one in Detroit as well. So we got to do Detroit and Nashville.
All right, very good. And great HBCUs in Nashville.
Absolutely.
Tennessee State, Fisk University, and American Baptist College. Any other questions? We got a couple of minutes left. Beverly? But stand up so everybody can hear you and see you. Your purse has disappeared? In this room or the other room? Right. Sister lost her purse. Yes.
It's kind of metallic looking. It's small metallic purse.
Small metallic purse. Beverly McKinnon? Beverly McKinnon? Yes. Clovis? If you find the purse, return it, please. Thank you. But yes, Clovis answer. Arizona, the Arizona informant.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you all for being here. I had a question. A few years ago, when we worked with General Motors, you would partner with our newspapers that had events and would have some programs and projects to spend money to bring your vehicles out and showcase them at events. Are you going to be doing anything like that again this year?
Absolutely. My team handles a lot of our sponsorships and events. And I think it's important to do grassroots, events, because you have to meet the people where they are. So if you do have any proposals of events or any investment in your company, please make sure that you reach out to us so we can evaluate and see if it's something that we can do. And if we can't, there may be an opportunity to synergize with some of our local dealers as well to help amplify that message. I will give you my contact information. We can talk offline.
So Clovis has been modest. So proud of what he's done with the Black Rodeo. So he's now not only in Phoenix, Arizona, but how many other cities, Clovis? 7 cities, a Black Rodeo.
Did it just come to Detroit like 2 weeks ago? Okay.
Right. We got time. Yes, Fran, Charlotte, North Carolina.
I guess I'm just standing up just to be standing up then, Doc.
No, I got you.
Okay.
Well, Fran, let Bobby go first since he's got the mic.
I'll let the lady go first. I'll be the... But then you got to come back over here. Okay, let me do it. Along the same lines what Clovis, Bobby Henry, publisher of the West Side Gazette, in the same vein of what Mr. Campbell was saying, my question is, has there ever been the thought of perhaps doing trade with a newspaper that maybe not want to take the cash but take a car instead, especially that new Volt car with the gas prices? Have you ever thought about that? That's my question. So.
Well, right. Inventory levels are pretty difficult right now. Actually, Bridgette, she was able to get in one of our Chevrolet Bolt EUVs, and she said, hey, I really want to get into this vehicle. I want to turn my current vehicle in, and we're going to make that happen. But it just depends on how that contracting is. We'll talk offline.
Okay, I'm moving over here so that the ladies can see me because I could not see you behind the podium.
Go ahead, Fran.
My question is, I know that oftentimes your decision to place advertisement is based on a major city in a major area. But what about consideration for those people where you're placing ads, they have no sold ads in the newspaper. However, like I'm Fran Farah. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been living there since I was 21. I own a newspaper. My office is in Statesville, North Carolina, which is in the Charlotte market. My newspaper covers 5 counties in Charlotte market: Catawba, Cabarrus, Iredell, Mecklenburg, and Rowan. All of those counties have GM dealerships. I've bought 5 GM cars.
Thank you.
Currently driving a Cadillac, which is important, raised on Chevrolets. But here's my point. Do you ever consider where you're placing the ad based on a city? Do you consider how much those newspapers in those areas are selling to your dealers? And I'm using myself as an example. Since 2013, I've had a GM ad in my paper every week. Not a big one, but every week. They pay well. And it's one of the dealers that is the largest dealer in the Charlotte market in North Carolina, period. Every week since 2018, I've had a Ford ad in my newspaper every week. And just because of the city doesn't mean that that's where I feel. I think those dealers in those counties, those are your dealers, that they need coverage of those big full-page ads that other people are getting where they're not selling one ad, not one. I would like for GM to consider that. Like I said, I have bought 5 vehicles from GM dealers, and I promise you that other dealers, other publishers have never had a Chevrolet product.
Well, first, thank you for your business and your loyalty to GM. I definitely appreciate that, and I know Tammy does as well. Our dealers are independent franchisees, and they also have a unique network called our local market areas, and that's a unique opportunity that we have not tapped into. They have an independent agency that they work through, and they're also, like GM at a national level, trying to dig deep into Black-owned media as well. And so that's something that we are curating. About a month ago, we had an opportunity to host the Diverse Owned Media Summit. And this was the first time we had a young lady by the name of Sheena Robinson, who works for Martin Retail Group, who buys media on behalf of our dealerships. So we're trying to understand how this relationship could work, independent of our dealers, but also having the same goal of investing into Black-owned media. So we'll take that as an opportunity to do more.
Well, I appreciate that, because right now it's just based on the city.
Very good. Thank you so much. And we have time for one more question. We got to stay on time. Yes. Terry?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Terry Jones, publisher of New Orleans Data News Weekly. I was just wondering, kind of based on what Fran was talking about, is there any way that you guys can encourage the dealerships to do more local advertising? I know this half of their money is it's like a co-op. You guys give them some money to advertise as they use part of their money to advertise. In that relationship, any way you can encourage them to use the local newspapers?
Absolutely. Just like the question before, our dealers are getting some of the same goals that we are as far as Black-owned media investment. So I'm very, very positive that within the next 6 months to a year, we'll strengthen that investment level at the local dealer level with the Black press.
Very good. Let's give our panel another hand. General Motors, thank you so much. For the record, to note that we're on time. I want you to finish up your, we're going to take a picture before you leave. But the next series of workshops will be back across the hall, starting with the Google News Initiative. We started out this morning with our young people talking about how important digital was. Now you're also going to hear from the experts in the digital space. Nobody has more expertise than Google on this question. And we want to make sure that we all benefit from the panel discussion. And then after that, we're going to have a series of workshops by Munson Steve, who's here from Rolling Out. And I'm not going to put all this business out there, but some of the publishers say, well, we're not making any money in digital. Well, Rolling Out in one ad buy made over $100,000 in one ad buy, in one single ad buy. And he's going to talk to our publishers about how that happened. That's the whole purpose of part of what we're doing at the convention, is to improve our skill sets on how to become more financially sustainable, both in the print world and the digital world. So we're going to take this picture and then we're all going to go across the hall and get into these workshops. Thank you so much. God bless.